We would now like to start the regular press conference by Foreign Minister Hayashi.
Well, thank you. Nothing from me at the outset.
If you are called upon, please come to the nearest microphone. Please identify yourself and affiliation and ask a question. NHK Iwasawa-san. Iwasawa of NHK. With the United States, there is a trade agreement. The Biden administration, based on the law established last year, there is a tax incentive for electric vehicles introduced. The critical minerals which are used for the batteries, and Japan has been asking to review this policy. You had the foreign minister level meeting, and also how is the status of the negotiation with the country?
Well, thank you for your question. With regard to the IRA related tax credit provision on EV, Japan has had a concern that it may not be consistent with efforts toward supply chain resilience that Japan, US, and further like-minded countries have been cooperating in advancing. So far, inclusive of the leaders level, in various different routes, we had expressed Japan's view to the United States. And between Japan and the United States, based on the leaders summit meeting in January, consultation has been held to formulate a document which incorporates cooperation on the supply chain resilience for the critical minerals. And as a result of the consultation between Japan and the United States, we had reached an agreement on the substance concerning the agreement between Japanese government and U.S. government on critical mineral supply chain resilience and strengthening. So today in Washington, D.C., at the USTR office, Ambassador Tomita of Japan to the United States and Ms. Catherine Tai, Ambassador, USTR, between those two people, coordination is underway to sign the agreement. Given the prospect that a great demand is likely to be emerging for the battery for the EV, it's urgent that critical minerals essential to the production should be secured. So in a sustainable and equitable way, assuring the supply chain, the cooperation toward which will be strengthened for the critical minerals through the agreement this time. And it purports to have a supply chain resilience based on the partnership with other like-minded countries as well. And it is likely that Japan will be regarded as a FTA country with the US under IRA. So that in Japan, the minerals are extracted and processed will be eligible for getting the tax credit for the EV.
Uechi-san of Asahi Shimbun. Uechi of Asahi Shimbun, that Russia is planning to deploy tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus. That has been announced. I have a question on this. President Putin is continuing a nuclear saber rattling. What is your view about this, and how do you analyze the objective of Russia? And also, if the weapons is deployed, are you going to consider stepping up the sanctions against Belarus?
Japan is the only country who had experienced the atomic bombing, so that we can never accept the threat or the use of the nuclear weapon by Russia. I'm not in the position to make comment about the background which led to the Russia's decision, but according to newspaper reports, President Putin made remarks that he decided to deploy tactical nuclear weapon in Belarus. As Russia's aggression against Ukraine continues, this would intensify further the situation, so we condemn it. Vis-à-vis Russia and Belarus, we seek these countries to de-escalate the situation. And with a high interest in mind, we will closely monitor the situation. With regard to the sanctions against Belarus, given the current situation surrounding Ukraine, we have been imposing the sanction measures and export ban measures on the individuals and the organizations inclusive of President Lukashenko. So in cooperation with the international community and G7, we will appropriately deal with it.
Ueda-san, Kyoto News. Ueda, Kyoto News. Regarding China, a stateless farmer's employee has been detained. After the detention, what is the status of this person? And also, as the government, have you made a consular official? Have you made a consular official visit?
Well, the Japanese person have been detained, and since that time, no direct contact has been made with that individual. So from the perspective of protecting Japanese personnel vis-à-vis Chinese authority, we would ask for the earliest release of the person and allow us to meet with that person and have a direct contact.
Takeuchi-san of Mainichi. Takeuchi Mainichi, I have a follow-up question. Regarding this detention, what is the impact to be caused on the Sino-Japanese relationship? And also, in November summit last year, Prime Minister Kishida raised this detention issue, and however, the same situation continues. What is the view of this continuing detention by China? And going forward at high level, are you going to consider making requests or protests to China?
Yeah, with regard to Japan and China, inclusive of this particular case, there are pending issues and challenges outstanding. And because of the pending issues and challenges vis-à-vis China, we are making our assertions when it is needed, and we have had intense contact with them, which is important vis-à-vis China. So far, at various different levels and opportunities, we have asked for the realization of earliest return, as well as assuring of the transparency in the judicial process. And just lately, as you had mentioned, in November last year, Prime Minister Kishida at the time of the summit meeting, and also in January when I had a telephone conversation with my counterpart, we had to lodged representations in this manner. And this time around, likewise, similar cases had erupted, to which we have a gravest concern. So through different levels and the opportunities, we will ask for the earliest release of that individual.
Nakajima-san of TBS. Russia military has fired anti-ship missiles in the Sea of Japan, and military activities is expanding around Japan. And how are you going to respond?
On the March the 28th, the Defense Minister of Russia made an announcement that in Sea of Japan, the missile boat of the Pacific Fleet had conducted launch test of the cruise missile. And according to the newspaper reporting of Russia, the Pacific Fleet was said to have conducted the said test. No damage reported off the coast of Petersburg Bay, off the coast of Vladivostok, and Ukraine aggression continues, and in Far East, Russian troops activities are getting activated. We will watch the development closely.
Iwasawa-san of NHK. NHK Iwasawa. I have a question regarding online application of passports. For the renewal and new issuance, since yesterday, online application is made possible. Regarding the number of application online, in comparison to the over-the-counter application, how is it faring? And also, in order to ensure a smooth offline application environment, how the ministry is going to respond to this?
Yeah, with regard to the online application for the passport, as of yesterday, application receipt had conducted for the whole day. 776 cases of application have been submitted. As of now, as far as the online application is concerned, much more than that. The application through the contact point has been increasing. However, we will work to have a promotion of the online application to be accepted widely. PR activities will be done. Convenience and efficiency will be raised for the sake of the Japanese people, and online work would continue for the consular-related work.
Any more questions? Thank you very much. This concludes the press conference. Thank you.